and I am quite curious about this one, so let's open it up and see what we'll be using on our journey to 1000 tonight. So, quick little background of this deck. About a year ago, I did some eBay scavenging, looking for some interesting decks. And at the time, I spent more than I should have on these cards amongst others, but on the bright side we have gotten a fair bit of play from them, such as the Japan decks and a couple others that are fairly nice. And this one caught my eye because Okinawa is such an odd theme for a deck, and you think, well, what could it be? And that's how I am right now. It's still, what is it supposed to be? Anyway, I hope your day has been well, my friend. A fun one tonight, hopefully. We continue through our 600s with another yellowish deck. I don't know why I correlate 600s with a bit of a brighter color, such as yellow, but here we go. Game number 1. Let's see what we've got. As fittingly, we start with a 6. And you know what? This looks pretty good so far. And why not? As we get into it, name a city or town in Japan that you would like to visit. Honestly, for myself, I would love to visit Japan, but I hear the tourists there could be quite a nuisance. Could be nuisances, I should say. So, if I were to go to Japan, I would probably mainly want to enjoy hiking, if that's a thing over there. I don't know why. I don't consciously think about it, but whenever I go into nature, it's just such a nice, relaxing experience. Even when it's not, it's just much more enjoyable and memorable for myself, as we had a tough first round. I actually have a story I just remembered about when I was within 10 feet or so of a rattlesnake. But I'll let that story be for another night. Anyway, we are having ourselves a nice little start here. Oh, we just received our first fat stack. It took me a second. And this might be our third play. Not bad. You know what? Let's force stuff to happen in this one. misread our situation. I think we're done. As there's nowhere for that 5, 9, 6, queen, and lastly 8. Well, that's interesting. Alright, on to our next game of the night. Dang. At least we got a fat stack in that one. Just a couple doubles left there. When I bought this deck, there was this very weird deck that I considered getting. I'm not sure if it was called the Hong Kong deck or one of those stereotypical, like sunrise, happy sunrise, but some other Asian symbols on it. But when I looked through the cards on eBay, it was some of the most out there looking cards I've ever seen. Each card had its own different artwork, and in that artwork, you would see like a random, like a dude dressed like this shooting rainbows out of his arms in a realistic looking drawn art style, and the next card completely serious, and it was just so unusual and interesting. I almost bought it, but it was around $30, and even I have to draw a line somewhere. It's just one of those decks, and it was yellow too, where you want to get just to have something so unusual, but that's not a good reason, I suppose. It was crazy. Now I want to look for it and see if I could get it so I could show you what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Ace of Spades. Okay, this game doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Usually, games that feel like this, all you need is one play to flip one of the cards that you haven't flipped yet. And that could be the difference maker. Because it's so unusual not to make a play with this type of spacing, that underneath it's just a gold mine of cards waiting to make a move. And that looks to be it, officially, for our second game. As there's nowhere for that 8, 10, 6, 7, 6, and lastly 4. On to game 3. And in this next game, let's talk a little bit about Japan for a bit. What is That's messed up. Okay. So let's have a little bit of a conversation here. I know for myself, I don't like saying that I like Japan just because it sounds like, oh, you're one of those people where it's just kind of boring. Whether it's anime influenced, history influenced, just what you see through social media or the news influenced, which is all a very fair point to be interested in something or then at least pique curiosity. But it just, I don't know why, I feel like a lot of people feel guilty about it too for whatever reason. So I wonder why that is. Remember, I am a United States citizen, so there is valid guilt in my opinion, even though it was not done by our exact wishes, but I think you got the point. So let me take this back. So my introduction to the Japanese type of culture was through filmmaking. And if you didn't know, Japanese culture is very influential in many of the largest American storytelling movies out there, like Star Wars, for example, was greatly influenced by Japanese films, samurai swords, lightsabers, Darth Vader's helmet being a samurai hat, just a quick couple off the top of the head. Quentin Tarantino heavily influenced just many of those films that we go, oh heck yeah, have Japanese influence. But as a kid, my brother would watch a whole bunch of Godzilla movies, and he would always make sure to turn off the dub to subtitles, so I would hear the Japanese language quite a bit. I didn't like reading because I was a kid. I was one of those kids who didn't bother reading the subtitles for the most part. And when I meant all the time, I really mean all the time. There are probably well over 50 Godzilla movies, and he has all of them. From Toho to some of the American ones, but point being, there is an extensive catalog of Godzilla movies. And through that, I believe around the age of 3.5 is when I learned about the atomic bomb and that whole deal. And when I grew like probably a year older or so, my brother explained how in Japanese film, specifically in Godzilla, that was kind of a reflection, or it's very symbolic of Godzilla being a monster of great destruction brought from radioactivity. It's really tough to speak while making plays, by the way, so my apology if I sound a little bit dumb. But anyway, a very interesting concept and idea to learn about that young when most kids are watching SpongeBob or Tom and Jerry. I'm learning about World War II and the devastation of atomic bombs. Dang, this sounds messed up. 9758, nowhere to go. And that looks to be the end of game number 3. Unless... yeah, that's the end. Dang. Looks like I'm gonna have to hold off that thought during this casino shuffle. So let's see which cards kept us from going any further. Did the killer Godzilla movies mixed in with other Japanese subtitled films growing up. And during my teenage years, my brother would then watch more of the critically acclaimed, historically acclaimed Japanese films, where I'd kind of passively watch on and off, but still enjoy it. And something I learned while watching almost any form of film, obviously film's not everything, but for a lot of us it's the closest thing we can get to understanding an area, culture, however you want to phrase it. And something I really could connect with as a kid was the idea of, I guess, discipline, in a sense. Japanese people are very respectful and have a strong code of which they practice typically. And that is something that is considered honorable and held to a high regard. And growing up, especially I think in an area like the United States, our history is only about 250 years old, so we don't have too many examples of, I guess, just history. We lack a lot of history, and there's a lot to learn from history. And being one of the younger countries around, especially a stronger country, in a sense, it is refreshing seeing a much more practice area with the values they hold. And I was never one of the kids to be super into nationalism, but instead having a good code of ethics and morals to which I would live by. Did we really get a quick game? Triple sixes. That is deadly. 8. Queen. 4. 8. And 5. Nowhere to go. On to game number 5. Tough night so far. We didn't even make a single play either, so there might be a negative stat to add on this one. Triple nines added to the negative stats. Triple threes and triple sevens. Dang. Alright. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I guess as a culture, I really admire how, from what I see, Japanese people are very respectful and courteous of others. And there is a very, what seems to be established social contract. And it just seems very nice, because here in the United States, you probably could see that there are just, it's not settled. It just, I don't know. It's hard to condense down my thoughts so quickly without making it sound in a way disrespectful towards another group or another. But yeah, I'm just at a loss for words. I think it'd be very cool to be a samurai back in the 1500s, wandering through the forests, living off of meats, berries, and whatever else I could find, while being the ultimate warrior. Oh my gosh, that sounds so nerdy, but it sounds so fun. Anyway, besides my poor communication of that subject, what are your thoughts on Japan? And did I touch on any of them through that jumbled mess of low cognitive ability? tension a bit, and I was not able to recover. At that point. Being tired sucks, but also it is fun at the same time. Honestly, I love sounding stupid. It's just, I don't know, it just makes it feel a little bit easier to just not care. I don't know. Come on, let's at least get like 2 more fat stacks. Tonight's just been pretty bad with such an interesting looking deck. Come on. And it looks like that is it for tonight. As there's nowhere for that 10, 5, 9, 6, 10 once again, 10 for the 3rd time, and 3. Wow. Damn. That is just pretty dreadful. Games-wise. Oh, I didn't even get a chance to rate the deck. Good handling, good feel, decent artwork for a yellow deck. 7.5 out of 10. The Killer Queens added to the negative stats. And that is it for tonight, my friend. This deck dropped the bomb as we could not get anything going. And with that being said, I hope you have yourself a relaxing remainder of your night. Many sweet dreams.